Hey, Slàinté, y'all. Welcome. Scotch on the Bayou. And we are back in the world of Ardnamurchan tonight for a very cool time with a couple of my best whiskey buds and the personification of how fabulous this whiskey community is. So I'm super excited to be here tonight. We are having an exclusive edition of Ardnamurchan called ArdnAmerican of America. Actually, it's no N on the end. It's ArdnAmerica. But yeah, so I want to say hey to everybody, see who all is in before we bring our guests and start pouring drams. And right off, Everwind, one of our guests tonight, Chris, as you all know, is here, going to be with us. And this guy, hey, going to bring a new soul in the world. All the best to the new family there, Martin. We'll see you when we see you. Hey, Jimmy Jazz is in. Franco, Whiskey Franco, Martin. Hey, yes, it's Ardnamurchan night. So pouring the 413, one of Akavite Roy's picks. Excellent. I have my bottles and I have not opened them yet. And here's my other guests I'll bring in a moment. Gregor, the king of quaff. Time for a dram will be in here in a minute. And good morning to you, Andrew. Thanks you for joining us in the wee hours of the UK morning. Really do appreciate this. We are not going to be doing rye tonight, although how cruel would it be to send you a blind flight of rye? I would never do that because you're too important to me, Gregor. Too slows always fast in the chat. Hey, friend, thanks for being here. And here is our friend Chad from Canada. Whiskey and Wine Trails. Slàinté, everyone. Great to see all the folks. And here's my bud Jennifer, who, if you may remember, Jennifer and I did the review of one of these drams that we're going to have tonight from our boat in the middle of the swamp. So yeah, our first in swamp camp dram was at Ardnamurchan. Sugar Kitty is in. Meow to you too, my friend. Just looking at all the cool folks. Kathy's in. Great to see you here, friend. And Stacy, hey, 4-leaf whiskey. Awesome. I just love it. So we're gonna get into these drams. Let me introduce my friends and tell the tale of how this happened. Everyone, please welcome our friend, yours and mine, Chris Everwind. Fair winds to all.
Ahoy, malt mates.
Ahoy, ahoy. And this guy, Gregor. Great to see you, friend.
Ahoy, ahoy.
Ahoy. With all of the, don't you just like looking at everybody's background? It's like I'm trying to spy what bottles Chris has on that shelf behind him, and then all of these so not toys behind Gregor.
No, these are very serious sculptural artifacts behind me.
There you go. They're beautiful. It's a great display. So guys, this is the epitome of whiskey community coming together in absolute serendipity. Because Chris, God love you for being patient and for being a trooper. All this happened because we knew that there was a bottle coming in to the East Coast. And Gregor was talking to you about getting this bottle, and you didn't have either his phone number or his email, and I did. So I kind of jumped on the train there. And you were the facilitator, Chris. You had boots on the ground where those bottles were. And by online transactions, we were able to secure this particular bottle.
Yeah, I'm by definition, I know a guy.
You're the guy.
I know a guy.
You're not even in sanitation. You're in collections. That's awesome. So now you're on the East Coast, right?
That is correct, just outside of Washington, D.C.
Yeah, yeah. So we're this is what I love about the whiskey community, because this has also just happened to me with Peter Lee over in Glasgow, is helping each other secure certain bottles or certain expressions that we can't get. And that's either an entire bottle or it's securing a sample of something, you know. So we're going to go through a couple of these, but the bottle that we're talking about primarily, as you know from that, is the Ardnamurchan. This is it right here. Just absolutely red, white, and blue. Ardnamerica. And we'll talk more about that right now. You know, in a bit.
America.
To that. Huh?
America.
Mark. It's I support this mark a whole lot. But
you know, Leanne,
yeah.
as you talk about the movement of the global movement of samples and bottles, I'd love to see that tracked just for 1 second, you know, just see like an Interpol tracker of
Like,
who.
yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny. It's so funny to think of.
You know, everything going east, everything going west. It would be, yeah, that would be interesting. Because you know, and I literally have a list. I have a list of, I need just to sit down one evening and just pour out and send, you know. The generosity that has come my way is more than I can even count, you know, and I need to take some of that out and push it back to the universe for sure. So we actually have 3 drams we're going to have tonight. And the first one, do you want to talk about this one, Gregor? Our first dram?
Yeah, sure. Of course, all these samples magic themselves around the country. But on the back of us getting the ArdnAmerica, we thought it could be good to do a lineup. And we tried to figure out what I had and you had, maybe Chris didn't have, so that, you know, owls could send something somewhere. And
Right.
one of those was McLean's Nose, the first blend out of Ardnamurchan. And I have to say, I've reached a tipping point in my journey that I'm actually loving chasing blends and cheaper. I say cheaper, better value to quality to value price.
Yeah.
And sort of guilt-free enjoyment. And this ranks very highly.
It really does. I had this first at Roy's when we got to Glasgow. I'd heard about it. And then we had it again when we went to Ardnamurchan. And for those who don't know or don't really remember, Adelphi owns Ardnamurchan. And what this is a blend of Ardnamurchan and grain whiskey. So that blend, as you were saying, lends itself to some very different flavor compounds, as well as a price point that isn't single malt.
Aye, yeah, and it's a high. I've got we were scanning just before going live the QR codes, and I've got that in front of me. So I'm going to sound really knowledgeable. I'm just reading right now. It's 70% malt, so only 30% grain, which is
Beautiful.
I'm guessing that's pretty unheard of for a blend.
Yeah.
It was 40.
Typically, what are blends? Do you know? Does anybody know what the normal ratio is? Is it mostly grain?
I'm sure it's probably high grain,
Yeah.
and they just add as little single malt to get complexity as possible. So might be the reverse. It might be more 70% grain and 30%. Yeah.
Yep.
But Chris, you were saying very fruity on the nose, hey?
Yeah, I got very fruity.
So let me know in the chat if anybody has had the McLean's Nose. Have you seen it in the States? I've not seen it in the States yet. I've only seen that.
So Gregor, did this come back with you on the plane?
This came back. This is I think that was a haul this year. That was one of the second bags this year.
So Jimmy, I want to ask you, when you say this bottle, was it the McLean's Nose you brought back? So let me know that for sure. Um, mm-mm-mm.
But I have to say the complexity it brings, it doesn't. I don't think it tastes young either. I
Mm-mm.
don't think it might smell fruity, but it's not young. And I definitely think it delivers above the price point for sure on complexity.
Well, I'm not used to tasting a higher ABV on a blend either, right?
That's right.
It's got a little bit more punch to it because of that.
It's a 46, huh?
46,
So
Yeah.
I think that really, really helps it a lot. But it is gentle. It is gentle for 46%. In my mind, I mean, I think the 46% adds flavor, but it's not overwhelming or too punchy. It just brings the flavor, but it's not bitey at all,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
So on particularly on blends with grain, okay, you know, I mean, kind of by definition, that's what they are. But on Scotch blends, not blended malts, but Scotch blends, I normally on the nose, I'm like, yep, there's the grain, and it just kind of lays low on the nose. Just, I mean, I get a lot of malt because of that 70%.
This is delivering malt, and I'm getting oak tannins.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely, you know, it's like there's definitely a malt presence. It wants to be a malt.
So it's 40 bourbon barrels of a Highland distillery, 5 ex-bourbon Campbelltowns, 16 sherry hogsheads from a West Highlands, probably Ardnamurchan, and 21 ex-bourbon grain in the lowlands.
I got a whiff of that funk. I was like, where's that little funk? It seems like there's a little bit of funk in the background.
A little.
Now when you said Campbelltown, I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. It's delicate though. It's just hanging around in the back, but it's like I get this little twinge of funk. It's like, oh, where's that coming from? Now I know.
Yeah. So Whiskey and Wine Trails is able to get it, ordering it through their local wine, their whiskey bar. Impact's Beverage is the one that's repping that. Ardnamurchan, they're doing Isle of Raasay, they're doing Kilchoman. So yeah, hopefully it's supposed to be. And when I talked to DJ at the distillery, he's like, oh yeah, it's going to be all over the US. So maybe it's just on the slow boat right now.
Shout out to DJ. He was the consummate host and came in on his day off and we were visiting on a Sunday. An amazing guy.
Amazing. And so, and I got a kick out of the story that I put out today of unboxing the ArdnAmerica. Ardnamurchan kept posting it like 3 times. It's all fun.
They love the social engagement. They're really good.
They really do. There's not. I mean, they're so far removed from society where they are.
Civilization. So was that on Instagram, Leanne, or what are the other?
It was on Instagram. And I have to say, Ardnamurchan is an absolutely breathtakingly gorgeous place. On the western side, I mean, it is the farthest west mainland.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like the peninsula?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And
of my road trip, it was the one area that reliably lost cellular network. Like phone, you were cut off. On Isla, I had better reception than Ardnamurchan.
Right. And you get there 2 ways. You can either go to Mull and you can take the ferry over from Tobermory. And go like maybe 10, 20 minutes max. Maybe, I don't even know that. Or you can go mainland and go down the single track roads. We did it in a car with my husband white knuckling. I mean, and sucking wind like, you know, this guy down here, this guy does it in a camper van. Oh my God, I can't even imagine doing that road in a camper van, Gregor.
Well, I was a passenger at that point. One of my friends was driving.
I'd have been in a bottle in the back and just said,
Unreal.
I give it up to God, and if we get there, we get there.
Passing places. You learn about passing places on those
Passing places,
single.
and they're not that big of a place to pass.
No, it's basically a hole in a hedge.
Ugh.
But this is great, and it's interesting to see now reading the blend. It'd be interesting to see what they do each release. How long does this stock carry through, and then what do they do in the next one? It'd be interesting.
So let's talk about why it's called McLean's Nose. Do we know this?
It's the hill, is it not? It's a hill a nearby hill.
Right. So it's the hill kind of back behind where the warehouses are that kind of goes out to the peninsula. There's a really cute story that they do on their Instagram that talks all about it when they're announcing it. But isn't it like named after Charlie McLean?
No. Oh, I think there's a bit of it. No. Oh, the hill or the whiskey?
The bottle.
No, I think
No?
I think Charlie's got a bit of history with Ardnamurchan, so I think they brought him into the fold.
Mm.
So I think it was two stories becoming one.
Yeah, I don't think the hill's named after him, just the bottle.
No, yes. Well, aye.
Maybe.
Yeah. So they got
Or
him
an homage.
to co-sign it.
Yeah, that works.
A few drops of water really softened this nicely.
Let's try that. I'm gonna do one drop because I don't have much in here.
I don't think it would take a lot of water, but a few drops of water softens it.
So this is my sample from the tour because I don't have a bottle of it yet.
Maybe I was going to say maybe if somebody was going back to Scotland sometime soon.
Maybe. Oh. Yeah.
What does this retail for in Scotland, Gregor?
I think it's either 35 or 40, somewhere between 35 and 45, I think, pounds.
Yeah. So anywhere between 45 and $50,
Yeah. And that's what I mean, guilt-free enjoyment. We've all got really nice bottles. And sometimes it's nice to put a little bit of a buffer between us and them. And drams like this, I think, does that.
This reminds me a lot of the Deanston Virgin Oak.
Mm.
I'm getting the stronger oak notes from the barrels on this. It's a really nice little dram. It's soft, but it does have, it's giving me a nice finish. It's sticking around.
Yeah, it's got
I really
a little
enjoy
spice there, huh? So what fruit are you getting on it, Chris? So for those who may not know, Chris is what we term a super taster. Dude can pick up all kinds of things. Now, you said you might have a little bit of a cold, and I say that makes you a mere mortal among the rest of us.
It was, appley, green appley, fruity.
Kind of orchardy fruit.
Orchardy, yeah.
Yeah. You could convince me of pear.
Maybe. Yeah, it's sweet. It's sweet. It's a sweet fruit, but it's like an apple or a pear. Yeah.
But a fresh fruit, not stewed or
no.
No
it's only
added
the nose.
sugar.
I don't get it on the palate at all, really. I get more of the malt and the oak, and the little creamy or buttery notes from maybe this little hint of vanilla in the background.
Yeah, it's a light straw kind of color, and not too viscousy. Not too oily or anything.
No, it's got a nice finish, which for this type of malt blend, I don't usually get long finishes in a blend. I mean, not that I've had a huge experience with a lot of blends, but it's nice. That's one of my things that make, I think, good whiskeys are really nice finishes because I really want to enjoy it and just sit with it. And it has a really nice finish for what you're getting. So that's a real big plus for me.
I think it holds its own with the other big blend that's kind of aimed towards us aficionados, if we call ourselves that, would be Campbelltown Loch, and I think it holds its own there. I'd like to put this up against Johnny Walker Green. Actually, I'd like to see how it compares.
That's good. Yeah. Hey, Troopers in the house. Mark JG. Also, and then this guy, Zach.
Hey,
Zach Andrews. Hey, thanks for the super chat, my friend. Great to see my friends enjoying a dram together. That was the serendipity part of this. once we once we knew a guy in DC, thanks, friend. I really appreciate it. To like go be boots on the ground to grab a couple of bottles and then employ a couple of owls to go drop off, in the Gulf Coast and then again on the West Coast.
Well, thank you, Gregor. I think this is a great value whiskey. I mean,
Totally.
it's not super complex, but what it does nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, hair
So,
product,
Mark
Gregor.
JG, I love you to death. This is to find out what hair products Gregor uses. The two of you are the coiffiest guys I know,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
I'm just saying,
Mark's got good elevation to his
Mark's
hair.
got
True.
great, but he's got more humidity than you do. I mean, he's got
yeah.
heat and humidity. So,
Which probably is more impressive then.
yeah,
Whenever I was in Texas or that, I did test my hair product. So Mark, do you really want to know?
I would think yes. Please tell him with a super chat.
It's American Crew, and it's the forming cream, and it often has an addition with like a photo of Elvis on it.
I'm shocked it's not natural, Gregor.
No, you put me in that humidity, and you'll see some little curls and kinks coming into my hair.
Oh no, you don't look, no, well, don't even go there. I own a corner of that market. No, I was witnessed last year at the Bastards Ball, in the heat of a Texas fall. And he not near a hair was out of place. So that's some good stuff there. Hey Tim, good to see you. You've not seen it in California, but picked up Ardnamurchan at Costco. At a Costco? Wait,
Wow.
what?
I'm always kind of amazed because shelf space is so limited. It's gotta be really hard for new distilleries to get shelf space when they're competing against all the bourbons and all the established scotches. So I don't know if they're greasing palms or they're doing it by reputation, but I'm glad it's getting around because it's a really good whiskey.
Well, all the Costcos are very different. So what's in one Costco is never going to be at always the other Costcos because our Costco stinks. It's awful.
Mine doesn't even sell booze. I'm in Oregon, and it's state run, so we don't even get it.
Yeah, I have to go to the DC Costco if I want stuff, and it's just hit or miss.
Yeah,
on what you find there.
Hey, Con, great to see you too, friend. Thanks for being in. Glad all your latest adventures have been going well. You would love this dram. Goodness.
Can I open? I wanted to open my bottle live. You guys
please open your bottle live.
Bottle 760 of 900. And it's funny, I got such bad FOMO when the ambassador's tour was happening, when they kind of launched this. And as soon as it was live, I was like, oh no, and then I found out there was only in a tiny little corner of such a big country. And I think Connell sort of intimated he caught a bit of flack. Ardnamurchan caught a bit of flack for it being such a small release.
So about that, so they came over and basically had their American coming out party. So they came over with Impacts and did New York and DC, 10 days in the States. And like you said, I mean, they just like, that's really great. But how about the rest of us? how about the rest of us that loves Ardnamurchan? So while you're pouring, I'm going to
if we go to New Orleans.
hold this up and want everybody to see. And actually, let me try to do this. So if those who have your camera ready, I'm gonna put. Let me see if I can do this for myself. How do I do this? So layout. I'm going to put up here real quick. This is the QR code. Let's see if it's good enough for you all to scan. It'll get there. It'll get there. Come on.
Go back about an inch, Leanne.
There we go.
There you go.
But cover my. There we go. So if you want to try to scan that, He will tell you everything about this dram. Okay, that's all my arm can do. Yeah.
Oh,
So they did this 900 bottling just for the States. Just for this tour. It's at 57.8. Is that what I said? Let me put these on so I can see. Yes, 57.8 ABV. I have bottle 777 out of 900. I think I need to go to the casino. I need to go to the boat and put some money in a 777 slot machine that has got red, white, and blue on it and see how well I do. But when you look at the information about this, when you go to Ardnamurchan, you scan the QR code, it brings up basically the poop sheet on everything about this particular bottling, down to who bottled it. Kelly and Keith bottled it, half and half. They did. Actually, it wasn't December. It's 4/12. So on April 12th is when it was bottled, because they do the date first, then the month, right, Gregor?
Yes, that's right.
And so they have their tasting notes on it. And then you get down, and Jennifer, this is just like when we were doing the review for the cask strength, is you have the barley, the malting of it, the fermentation time information, the distillation information, down to who the distiller was that day, and also the maturation. So this was the fermentation time was 76 hours. It's concerto down. They'll even tell you what farm the grain came from. When you look at the distillation, let me see, this is not showing. So just look at this color.
Yeah.
I mean, all right, I'm gonna blow this up again, guys. Hold up. Look at the color. OMG. Don't look at my nails. Look at the color.
and it's natural, because you know it's Ardnamurchan, right?
Oh, and Doogie from Dramface and I were chatting about it as well. The cloudiness of it, it's an amazing color, but it's also cloudy, and you're not seeing through so much as you are seeing a hint of what's there.
I'm glad you brought that up, because at first I thought, oh, I went from air conditioning space to a warm outside to take that picture, and it I was thinking it was condensation at first. So I'm wiping the bottle down. Like, it's not going away.
Oh, these got really slow legs. You can tell this is viscous. These legs are they're just slowly going down.
So y'all, Zach, it's so red. It's red because it's PX and Oloroso, hogshead and octaves, peated and unpeated. Are you getting what are you getting on the nose right away, guys?
Dark fruits.
Totally.
Dark fruits.
Yeah.
But are you getting peat, and are you getting smoke on the nose?
I'm not. I don't get so much.
But it's rich. It's rich, really rich in the dark fruits.
There is maybe a savouriness under the nose that could be pointing towards something given, beyond the sweetness of the sherry.
Nuts. I'm getting like almonds or marzipan.
The nuttiness. Yeah.
Definitely like
off that Oloroso.
Almonds.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a really nice nose.
Can we just say how Chris is representing the channel tonight with his Scotch on the Bayou barrel tasting glass and his Slàinté y'all t-shirts. He's
available at fine retailers everywhere
like,
online.
right. Let's check the description for a link to
Support your local YouTuber.
Oh my
Because they're
gosh.
worth the effort, really, guys. They're really worth the effort. And hit that like button too.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
It's funny. The more I'm sniffing it, though, the more I knows it. I am getting beyond the sherry, and it's like I say, I'm now starting to get savoury.
Almost not quite meaty, but
to me it's meaty. This is like it's rich.
Well, I'm gonna say it for Jennifer. Is it Mortlock meaty? That's what she always says. Is it Mortlock meaty? But no, it is that kind of gravy almost.
Yeah.
But for such a
like
high
red
ABV,
eye gravy.
Yeah, but
like
such a high ABV, it doesn't get any alcohol in the nose at all. It's not burnt. It's just like. Oh,
so
wow.
do you know what red eye gravy is, Gregor?
Yeah, it's the coffee, right?
So yeah, you add coffee to it, but basically it's like if you pan fry like a ham steak, and then you work all the bits off with a little water,
right,
and then you can put some coffee in it. That I think the coffee's after, but yeah, that's the.
Or is
it's
that
kind of
cowboy
like
gravy?
that meaty gravy.
Okay.
Oh man.
I
can remember my grandmother making it on a cast iron skillet.
Oh, you know, well, you segue into food. I just watched a video with Joshua Weissman, is an American young cook, and he tastes all the famous foods from each state.
Yeah.
And Louisiana, it's a gumbo.
Yeah.
And I won't spoil it, but it does very well.
Very good. Guaranteed. Well, I would be interested to see where the gumbo was from, if it was from the Cajun area or the New Orleans area.
Well, he made it.
He made it.
Yeah, I'll forward you the video later.
Oh, you'll have to. Yeah.
Oh, this is such a good whiskey.
Wow.
This is really.
This makes you want to stand up and sing "God Bless America."
I'm getting no peat at all. If it's in there, it's hiding underneath.
It's almost like I'm getting a little bit in the finish. Just
I'm not
kind of
getting
like
the PX notes. I'm getting all Oloroso though. It really, to me, it's all Oloroso dominant.
So I've tasted it, and I think for me, if the peat, whatever, if it's there, it's stopping it going fully sweet and only sweet. It's balancing.
It's keeping it in check. Tim, that's our next dram. We're getting there.
Like a share. Yeah, this is really.
Yeah,
nice.
This has come at the perfect. This has come at a perfect. Personally, not to turn it all into me, perfect time for me, because you know I wax lyrical about the Cuboca in 15 and how stellar that is because of the balance of peat and sherry, and then this comes along. It's fantastic.
This has got a finish that just goes on and on and on.
That nose just
really.
So I mean, so many times. Well, not so many times, but often there are times. You back all that up. There are times where you do like you get you pour something and you get this nose and you're like, wow, and then you have your first taste and you're like, okay, it's the first taste. You go for your second taste and it's like, where did all that go? You know, this progresses so nicely between the nose and the palate and the finish.
And this can't be, it won't be 10 years old, right? They've only just hit
2017 and 2018. So what does that make it? About 6, 7 years old?
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Not even, so 3, 5, and 6.
That's super complex for something that's that old. Young, I should say.
So let's talk about that for a second, because 5 and 6 year old whiskey, peated, unpeated, Oloroso, PX, hogshead, and octaves.
This doesn't taste young. This does not taste young at all.
Your point being, though, Leanne, a high cask interaction in a short period of time.
Yeah, these had to be very wet casks.
And offsetting types. You've got a
Mm.
big ass hogshead, and you got a teensy little octave. Those
Do we know
mature
which was
very
all right? Yeah, I wonder. Do we know where the peat was? Was the peat in the large? Ah, who knows?
You know, they kind of, that I don't see here, but they tend to like split that up pretty well.
Mm.
I know a guy. You know a guy. He's, hey DJ.
I know.
Okay.
You can answer all the questions we provide, Leanne, after the stream. Just hit them up with
Okay.
the
Yeah,
questions.
I'll go back and put them in the chat
Yeah.
in the comments
People need
section.
to run. If you like Ardnamurchan and you like sherry, you should run for this brand because
Totally.
it's delivering.
Oh my goodness.
And I would even say, you know, like I was a few years ago, sherry only, but peat curious stuff like this is a great segue into it.
Absolutely.
It's not getting any peat at all. If it's there, it's just an undercurrent.
A wisp.
I think it's
Roy
added
would
to
say.
the depth. So Jimmy Jazz is talking about the highlight of Leg Fest is actually getting to pour that at the Bonaccord. That's pretty cool. Along with some.
There was that wisp.
Some
There was
spring
that wisp.
paints.
There is a little peat in here. There is. I just got a wisp of it.
Cool.
That's a good way to describe it. It's just a wisp.
Yeah.
Wisp.
So Zach is saying that he's saying that that the octave cask it would have been octave cask rather than the peatiness.
So does Zach have Zach? Have you got a bottle of this coming? I know you've got your aqua. What did we call it? Ardnavite
Ardnavites.
bottles coming. But have you got a bottle of this coming?
I get
a little bit.
No, I've got samples ready for him and Martin JG for sure.
This is lovely.
And I think too, let's talk about the bottle because the bottle's a little different. So I don't have the McLean's knows being a blend, it's a little different type of bottling. Yeah, it's got basically label. It's more, I would think it's more as a Delphi label, right? This is the label. It's an etched bottle for the cask strength and most of the others. This is an embossed. And it's so lovely, y'all.
It's got a bit more shoulder at the bottom now.
Yeah. And then for those who may not have known, these are the Aquavite bottles, and
I love it.
But they have a opening on either side, so you can see the color.
A porthole to keep on the nautical themes. Ahoy, Chris.
That's right. So Martin is talking about, yes, you understand. You get all this nose and then nothing on the delivery. God bless McLean.
This is really spectacular, Gregor. I am so glad you discorded me. It's like, Chris, old buddy, old pal, you know a guy.
So Zach is getting a tour bottle, he says.
Oh, very good.
Yo, I'm just getting
wonderful.
I'm getting a lot of PX now on the nose.
Are you?
That crushed raisin. And almost like a raisinette, those chocolate covered raisins.
See,
I want to put a little water on it.
I'm getting like a little honey note in there somewhere, probably.
Yeah.
Soft honey in there.
You know, Chris, as you say, thank you there. It's fun, isn't it, when somebody else puts you on, or it pushes you a little bit where you might not have gone. It's good fun.
Oh, this is just so lovely.
Oh wow!
And it's given more every time. It's a little different. So this is really. I'm really enjoying this, Gregor.
It's the
I'm
neck
really
pour.
enjoying this.
I know. Imagine what this thing's going to do as it opens up. Now I'm getting pancake syrup.
Oh.
I put water. I put like 3 drops on it.
This is going down really easy for 57.
Hey Mo,
going down way too easy for 57.
Yeah.
It's super easy.
I mean, the first one you could tell it was higher ABV, but now it's just warm and loving you, right? It's just giving you hugs and love.
Have y'all put water on it yet?
I just put a few drops in.
I drank mine before I could. Sorry.
That's okay.
Mark J.
Brought out
Mark
the
JG's.
raisin notes.
Oh,
The water
Mark
brought out
JG's
the raisin notes.
Mark puts a good point there about that's what he loves about Ardnamurchan. It's constantly changing, but not in a
No, it's like different pews in the church, right? It's like you're just changing seats, but it's different.
It's all the same message.
It's not schizophrenic, you know, like
Right.
your Waterfords came out and you didn't know what they were doing. Even Bruichladdich, I think when they first started, they were just doing every and anything, and you couldn't really follow along. But I think everything Ardnamurchan are doing, it feels like a chapter in the same novel.
Yeah.
Yeah, water softened it for me, but it didn't take anything away. It just softened it.
And I get orange on the nose now, and actually a little.
Oh yeah, the marmalade. I do get a marmalade type of. No,
I tell you, you definitely get a smokiness with an empty glass. You get it more.
There. It's just like you said. It's a wisp. It's just hanging around there.
I get it more on the finish now with the water,
right?
Almost that kind of
the
that mineralic charcoal. Oh goodness! Well, we could do this all night. We need to run to our third dram here.
I don't know. I think this is my new best friend.
I know, but the part, like, you can come back to it, right? This one, this ArdnAmerica.
Get another bottle because this stuff is really good.
Well, you know where they are.
Left.
And the retail, what was the retail again? It was sub 100.
We got on sale for $79.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Normally $99, I think. I think I saw it at Petite Sellers for $99.
Oh my gosh!
The Atomic Wine Spirits had it for $79. Now that I mentioned that, everybody's going to call them up and it'll be gone.
But truly, that one poured and let it sit for 30 minutes covered. Just let it kind of do its thing, and
yeah, I let mine sit for a good 30 minutes.
You could just smell that all night long. It's been a hell of a week. We pouring this one on a Friday evening and just letting it go.
That's delicious. Yeah.
So interesting.
Has Ardnamurchan done sherry before? Most of the things we tasted Ardnamurchan was supposed to have been bourbon.
No, a sherry. They did a sherry and a Madeira to date.
Yes.
I think I've got both. I'm turning into a bit of an Ardna fanboy, but I need to open them. I'm not opening them.
So this is our third dram, guys, and this is the one that Jennifer and I did. It's the AD0222 cask strength at 58.7, also known as the Bullfrog Camp Dram. For those who haven't seen it yet, we are literally, Jennifer and I are literally in the boat in the swamp doing the review, and there's a peanut gallery of bullfrogs who have editorial comments throughout, especially at the very end. Okay, so I've said everything I have on that review. Tell me guys, what y'all are getting on this cask strength.
Well, I mean, this was I think to when it first released, this was their first cask strength, right? Everybody was super excited about it.
Yeah.
So I think there was a big anticipation when it launched. I'll be honest, on the nose, I'm not getting massive peat either. No. So I'm all about whatever ppm Ardnamurchan pick. It's quite light in color.
It's light and bourbony. It was like definitely bourbon note, bourbon barrel notes. I don't get much peat. When I first smelled it, before I had all the other ones, I did get I felt it was like the most dominant peat notes, but now I don't get any peat after it's been sitting open for a while.
Right.
So when did we start? So this has been open a good 45 minutes, airing out.
I will say, my nose knows that this is a high proof whiskey as opposed to the other two. It's definitely tingling. What was it again? What proof was it?
I know I'm trying to do the QR code, but it's not cooperating.
58. Oh, it's only 58.7. So
58.7. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Come on. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, there's peat on the there's peat when you drink it. The peat
peat's
makes
there.
itself known well.
Yeah. I can remember
it's
that.
It's not like an Isla peat at all. It's
No.
It doesn't put hair on your chest or anything like that.
It stays savoury. That's for me. That the successful peat for me. It doesn't just blast. Each to their own. But this,
no,
this is meaty.
This is a part of the flavors. It's not the flavor.
Right. So both or 76 hours fermentation. And when you do the QR code of this one, it is predominantly peated bourbon barrels. Unpeated, there's 3 unpeated sherry casks.
Really?
Yeah.
They must be second fill.
They gotta be second or third fill.
And then 2, actually, so there's 1, 2, 3. There's 5 unpeated sherry casks and 4, 5 unpeated bourbon and probably 20 peated bourbon. So it's, I think, a combination of lower ppm.
Well, it's definitely peated, and it's present, and it's running the show, but it's not overwhelming at all. There are flavors behind it, though. It's really nice. There are flavors behind it. I'm not getting
it's
the sherry,
much
but
brighter.
It is rounded off. It's not brittle or sharp. It's something softening it, so maybe that's the sherry that's softening.
Yeah, I now wonder, is it the ppm that's working with me, or whatever influence the sherry's had and knocking it, the edge off of it? I couldn't tell you that there was sherry on that from the taste.
Maybe on that initial sweetness, but the sherry is like, 1 to 6 ratio.
You can tell there's something going on in the background, but I'm still trying to find it. I know it's there. Again, a wonderful finish. I guess ArdnAmerica knows how to finish. They have whiskeys that have great warm finishes. It's hanging around.
Man, the peat is very hello, but it's a smoky.
Yeah, there's nothing ashtray or Band-Aid or iodine. Is this probably? Do you think this is a peat from the Highlands?
Probably,
or is it a peat from Isla?
No,
definitely not from Isla.
And they probably wanted to remain true to their location and keep it mainland peat.
Yeah, I get this kind of peat in the Benromic too, right? That Highland peat. It's not like Orkney peat where the heathery stuff. This is.
Well, Tim, yeah.
So Tim's drinking along with us. Crisp pear, 0 peat on the nose. I'm totally with you there. Bittersweet finish, almost like a grapefruit. So you're kind of getting that little pithy kind of. It's almost like that finish is kind of dry, like the white part of the grapefruit.
That's a good reference point. The grapefruit, the bittersweetness of a grapefruit.
Yeah,
I'm stealing that.
But very clean, the whole. I mean, it's bright. It's a bright dram. Very clean.
I get the wood, so I'm very sensitive to the wood tannins, and I get that oak in there too. So.
Well, it seems like you probably would get a lot more of that because of all the bourbon barrels too, though, right?
Well, yeah, those have to be second or third fill sherry barrels, right? Because it's just not dominant if it's there.
I'd put this in that category of, I say it quite often, but the whiskey drinker's whiskey, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, a little water warmed this up, and more honey and more vanilla notes just come out in the nose.
Okay, I'm adding water.
Creamier, a little creamier. Yeah, the water does release stuff in the nose.
Oh, it got a lot brighter on the nose for me with water.
like a buttery, creamier, malty. The malt,
Almost
I give
like
you
a
malt, buttery malt cereal.
almost like a cream, like fresh cream and
Oh,
honey.
Yeah.
okay. I wasn't getting any of the butter until you said the fresh cream. Like you're just nosing it to see if it's gone bad or not, and you
It's
get that
like,
cold dairy. I could get
it's like,
that,
yeah, it's good. You can go in my coffee now.
but somebody's tapped on a cigarette into it as well. There's a little hint.
I don't get any of that.
Dude, I just had a flashback to 8th grade. Somebody threw a cigarette butt down in a Coca-Cola bottle.
Oh
Ah!
no!
Ah!
Oh,
Oh,
sorry. Didn't mean to trigger.
that was not a pleasant nor pretty display. Let's
No,
just say
the
that.
notes is just these warm bourbon notes are coming through now.
And for me, the peat dissipated with the water, or maybe I'm just used to
Yeah,
it.
I think well in the nose anyways for sure.
I overwatered mine. I had whiskey flavored water by the end. Not pleasant.
Oh, Martin's man, it just got serious. The crack on the 411. All right, man. I haven't cracked mine open yet. Oh,
The color difference between those is insane. Those
a
two.
crazy sister cask right next to each other. Oh, man, the finish, y'all just goes and goes and goes.
So I forget when I was with Glenn Modan said a little water tends to make the ABV taste stronger. That definitely happened here, right?
Yeah.
Right. It brought the ABV up in taste for sure.
It dispels the alcohol, so you're more
Mm.
susceptible to it. So it
yeah.
Yeah.
I find the first few drops they make it quite aggressive, and it needs to settle, and then another couple tends to then open it up.
Yeah, I really liked what the water did to the nose, in that it created those warm, creamy notes.
It's good. It's good, but ArdnAmerica, I'm sorry.
ArdnAmerica really hit all the buttons for me.
Home run.
I mean, just knocked it out of the park, y'all. They even went. So Connell and Carl, when they were over, they even went to a baseball game. I was like, "Well, God bless America, because y'all did it. This is spectacular, absolutely spectacular." So I'm gonna ask Jimmy Jazz here. I'm gonna assume you mean Peter Lee Fest, because if it's this Lee Fest, I'm coming. You never know, but no, that's awesome. So Peter Lee, for those who are on the Barflies as well, he's just absolute doll. He's just such a fabulous, generous soul. You mentioned Gregor, the Kubokin 15. This wonderful man went and grabbed that because it was on sale this week for me.
Sweet.
So he grabbed one of those because I am a huge Kubokin fan. Just the regular old school Kubokin, and Kubokin. And I love the fact that, the whole story behind it being, this creature out in the moors, because it reflects very much the Rougarou, which is the swamp creature. They're very similar.
Who's old enough to remember American Werewolf in London, man?
Oh, great movie.
Great music in that movie.
Great movie. If I'm not mistaken, I think the start of Kubokin, I'll need to check with Scott, but I think they received a bunch of peated barley by mistake, and they just said, let's run it. I might be wrong. And then it turned into a plan.
Interesting.
I'll fact check that, and we can put that in the notes.
Okay. So if you like powerful whiskeys, then the cask strength is for you, right? This is just strong. It's got a lovely long finish. It doesn't seem super complex to me. There are flavors in there. The peat is there. The peat is, to summarize, the peat is there. It's a big part of it, but it's not overwhelming. There's some nice little notes in the background, which must be the sherry, the honey creaminess. Definitely the creaminess stays.
The creaminess has a lot to do with how oily this is. I mean, if you look at your glass, I'm not if yours looks like mine, but I mean it's oily on this one. So, and I think that, kind of going back to what Gregor said about they're doing very different things, but their fermentations were the same length and all of this. I think what the spirit that's coming off that still is so solid that it can handle kind of the cool mojo that they're doing with the different casks.
Do we know the age of this? It's got to be what, probably 5 or 6 too, because it doesn't taste old, but it doesn't taste young.
Let me see.
So I would say it's got to be probably 5, 6, 7 years old.
So these are 2015 casks and a couple of 14s.
So that's pretty good age. Then.
Yeah.
Well, it was a couple of years ago, though.
Year. So
was it only last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I would like to see this as a 10 or 12-year-old. I wonder what it would do. I think it would probably you get a little more complexity out of it.
I'm curious.
I think you need a lot more.
It's a good question. I have the same question of a lot of the young distilleries right now who are definitely riding the zeitgeist wave of age doesn't matter and all that. But I wonder, will they still say that when they hit some numbers that they can go, no, I'm going to put a double digit on it and we'll keep making that 10.
Well, they're doing good whiskey with the younger stuff, so I can imagine they find the right casks and they will find that balance.
I've been pressing Alistair about that. On Brassay. It's like, I want to know what a 10 or a 12-year Brassay is like.
I
mean, do we all agree that the magic numbers for whiskey seems to be between 12 and 15, 16 years old? I mean, that seems to be a really good sweet spot for a lot of great whiskeys.
I would say yes, based on the way that those traditional whiskeys have been made, Chris. But this crop of new distilleries, I think what's coming off there still is like it's 11 compared to what some of the other stuff, especially the big mass market stuff. I think what they have coming off the still is so crafted that, I mean, I've had too much of their new make to go, damn.
Chris, I think if you look at a Kilkerran 8, we'd probably say 8 is the start where it starts to get really good.
Yeah.
So I think 8 to 15.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta give credit for Ardnamurchan. The higher ABV and the non-chill filtering really adds the flavor and the mouth coating for these whiskeys that give it a longer finish, which is what I really enjoy for sure. Right? It doesn't. It stays. It lasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Chris, you get to keep one as a full bottle. What is it?
Oh, the ArdnAmerica is hitting every button. I love this stuff. This
just
is
as well,
really
just
good.
as well, isn't it? Alien, that's just as well because he's got one.
He's got one, and thanks to him, you and I have one.
Hey,
it's like that's the beauty of it, y'all. This was tremendous.
Thank you.
This,
thank you.
Chris, thank you.
We all figured this out, and it was like, oh, we got the bottle, and the very next thing was, I wish we could all share it, and I'm like, we can. We're just going to do it in the box, as my mother calls this thing.
Bear with the following seat. Thank you very much, Leanne and Gregor, for bringing me along.
Cheers,
always welcome here. Guys, thank you so much. Camp Drammers, everybody out there, thanks for your time and being with us here on a Tuesday night. Go find your Ardnamurchan. If you can't find it, if you can't find what you're looking for, reach out to your whiskey peeps. See what they can do and help, even with samples. Share the wealth. It'll come back to you tenfold. Guys, I'll see y'all in a bit. And everyone else, have a great week. See you next weekend. Slàinté, y'all.